What prevents our natural awakening to self-realization? Well, obviously, one thing that prevents us is, if we're not on that awakening path, is disinterest. Many people are just not interested in being spiritually awake. In fact, they don't even understand what you're talking about when you point in that direction. But so they're not interested. Even the people who are not interested in spiritual awakening and learning about higher realities eventually will be, because their innate urge is to be awake. And they may not be conscious of it yet, but eventually it will become influential. Another problem, barrier really to spiritual awakening, is not knowing what to do to nurture our spiritual awakening, not knowing how to go about it. Another barrier or obstacle is knowing what to do but not doing it. That's common, isn't it? Oh, I know what I should do, but I don't always do it. And then there are other conditions, too, that interfere, even if we are rightly resolved and highly motivated and doing our best to eat right and think right and meditate right and do everything right, as we know we should do, or at least think we should do. Still, there may be some problems that we have to confront and overcome. So in the second chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Kriya Yoga practice is recommended and is first defined in the first sutra as austerity or disciplined thinking and behavior or actions, self-study, which means self-inquiry, what am I, using discrimination and meditation. Discrimination to discern the difference between what we are and what we are not, that's helpful, but also to meditate, to have actual experience of our true nature. And then rising above, seeing through this mistaken or so-called illusional sense of self-identity, waking up from this idea that we are this small unit of confined awareness and realizing what our relationship to a larger reality is. These procedures are referred to together as Kriya Yoga practice. Now, the word Kriya is Sanskrit, and it simply means action or procedure or process. And yoga, in the Yoga Sutras, is used to as a synonym for samadhi, which is another Sanskrit word, and they both mean pretty much the same thing. The word samadhi, we can go to the prefix sam, means together. So yoga means unification. So both yoga and samadhi refer to unification of attention and awareness with our essence of being, or self-realization. So this is Patanjali mentions in the Yoga Sutra, these practices can result in self-realization. But in the second sutra of the second chapter, after defining Kriya Yoga practice, then Patanjali wrote, Kriya Yoga is practiced to remove, use the word which we translate into modern language as afflictions, and for the cultivation of the samadhi or oneness of self-realization. And the afflictions are simply enumerated later on in that chapter, as they could be psychological conflicts, could be anxiety, guilt, poor self-image, doubt, trauma of some kind, unwillingness to learn, inability to learn or to comprehend what is presented to one, addictions, attachments of various kinds. You know how it is with the human condition. There can be a variety of troublesome conditions that interfere with self-awareness and clarity of awareness and happiness and freedom. And so Kriya Yoga is practiced to remove them. That is, some of these conditions can be renounced or gotten rid of very quickly by seeing the futility of having them and the non-usefulness of having them. For instance, we can renounce guilt and regret and envy and jealousy and egotism and an inflated sense of self-importance. We can renounce all of that stuff by just seeing how foolish it is to hold on to it. And no one is making us hold on to it. We're holding on to it ourselves. We choose to hold on to it. So you say, well, I don't want that anymore, and just let it go. You don't have to struggle to overcome. You don't have to spend weeks and months in recovery in various therapies, using various therapies. All you have to do is just dump it, get rid of it. You don't need it. And some will say, oh, that's just easier said than done. Well, that's because they don't want to do it. They just want to hold on to it for some reason or another. So a lot of the stuff that's troublesome, we can just let go of it. Just let it go. And that's a positive step in the right direction. And if we have some habits that are debilitating, such as procrastination, not doing what we know we should do on time and in the right way, we can let that go. We can stop procrastinating. And if we tend to run ourselves down mentally or verbally with self-talk or verbal conversation, and diminish ourselves and say, I'm no good, I'm helpless, and I made a lot of mistakes, and no one loves me, and God doesn't love me, and so forth. Stop that talk. Stop that mental talk, and stop that certainly audible talk. Don't ever say anything like that. You might say it once to your counselor or your mentor or your advisor to help you get your head straightened out. But after that, don't talk about that stuff. It's negative affirmation. And so negative affirmation is influential just as positive affirmation is. An affirmation is a declaration of something that is true or you consider to be true or you want to be true. So if you affirm all these things about yourself that you don't want to be true, you're simply putting that more deeply into your subconscious as a form of self-indulgence and self-punishment sometimes, and self-limitation. So we don't need to do that. So there's a lot we can do to help ourselves live more efficiently and productively just by having the right intentions and following through. And Patanjali mentioned in the Yoga Sutra that progress in spiritual awakening is in relationship to the intensiveness of practice, not the intensity, but the intensiveness or the concentrated endeavor. Concentrated right endeavor or focus. If we stay focused and on what it is we intend to do and will do, just stay focused on that and go forward with that, then we can have a satisfactory progress in awakening to self-knowing or self-realization. And then in the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali mentions a variety of things that can be done for people who want to meditate effectively, to concentrate and to clarify awareness. And so contemplation of Om is recommended as a meditation, as a form of meditation. Patanjali wrote in the first chapter that there is this, we call it in Western metaphysical terminology, we call it the oversoul or the cosmic soul. Patanjali used the Sanskrit word Isvara, meaning the ruler or regulator of the cosmos. its existence is indicated or really proven by the fact that there is a vibration of Om. He calls it Om. It's the vibration of the power of consciousness pervading the universe, out of which the universes were manifested. And but it has an origin, and it's the existence of it indicates it's an origin. So Patanjali says, go meditate on that and its significance. What is this cosmic vibration, this cosmic sound that's everywhere present? Well, it has an origin. What is its origin? First, identify with that sound vibration, or imagine that you do, and then contemplate its significance, its origin, and want to know it, and then that will get you to the stage of contemplation of the expressive aspect of ultimate reality with characteristics, and then go beyond that and to the absolute or the pure stage of or aspect of ultimate reality, which is the experience of transcendence, what yogis call kaivalya, the great aloneness. And now, some people, when they're first meditating and they hear about this as an aim or a possible experience or realization, get a little nervous. Well, what if I experience transcendence and don't come back? Well, that's not going to happen. And but I want to be me. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I want to be the little me. I saw someone sent me I saw it on the internet, I guess. Someone had put a cartoon up that was taken from the Wall Street Journal, and it showed the caricature of the yogi on top of a small mountain, a reclusive yogi sitting there, and at his feet there was a man who obviously just climbed up the mountain. He had still had his backpack on, and he was going to the wise yogi to get his input. And he said to him, I don't want absolute knowledge, I just want enough to get by. So many people are like that when they meditate. I don't want transcendental realization, I just want to be a little bit blissful, and a little more comfortable, a little more peaceful. And that's all right. Be more peaceful, be more comfortable, experience a degree of blissfulness or joyousness, that's all right. But then don't stop there. That's what yogis recommend, at least. Don't stop there. Aspire to go to the fullest extent possible, to wake up completely. And there can be those occasions of experience of transcendence. And when they occur, then you experience that they are very familiar. And they're not unsettling or frightening at all. But you feel like you're home. But you can't stay there forever, because you come out of your superconscious state, somewhat transcendent state anyway, and back to ordinary awareness, hopefully more illumined and more understanding and more functional. But if you calm the mind and emotions and clarify awareness, then there's a possibility of experiencing these transcendent states of consciousness. And they can't be explained adequately with words because they're non-conceptual. You can't, you're talking about transcendence beyond characteristics and attributes. It's indefinable with concepts. So you can hint at what it is, but you can't really fully describe it. And in some of the Upanishads, some of the old writings from India, one approach was to get to what it is to negate everything that it is not. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. Well, what's left is what is. But that's sort of a process of discernment. But so Kriya Yoga, the term sounds rather exotic, but all it is right thinking and right living, and right contemplation of ultimate reality, right contemplation of our true nature. So if we don't use Sanskrit words, you use plain English, and it's just common sense. And the procedures are suitable for everyone. That's why they're called universal procedures or principles. And they don't belong to any religious tradition or any cultural situation. They're just universal.